Haley.
I'm Amanda, and we're Haley and Amanda. And you're listening to the Haley and Amanda podcast.
Hey, everybody.
Just so you know, we have been recording these episodes with a camera.
But
also,
not 3 angles anymore.
No, but we are putting them on YouTube just in case people also like to watch. So we are on YouTube and Spotify and iTunes and Stitcher and all the other places that you can listen to podcasts. But I just wanted to let you know that you can see our faces. We're smiling right now. And we're on Haley's couch. And we have Dalmatians everywhere. Spots everywhere.
Everywhere.
So
seeing spots.
So we're trying it. We're going to see. We've done the last couple of episodes and we don't know. We're just trying stuff.
We're not taking any feedback, though, about the videos.
Yeah, if you don't like it, don't watch them.
Like the podcast part of it, we are
let us know.
feedback.
We really want to do that well.
But this,
It's just
just
extra.
leave us alone about it.
Just extra. We're just trying it. And like this time, we have the camera really high, and I feel like I'm looking up.
And that our necks might hurt halfway through.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do it different next time.
But, you know, it's kind of like our last episode when we were talking about creativity and that
You gotta play.
you gotta try stuff, and you know it doesn't
gotta
matter.
tinker.
You gotta tinker around. And then you're like, man, my neck hurt a lot when I did that. You don't do it like that next time.
No, you don't. You change it.
So I hope that everyone had a little bit more of a creative week, though.
I know. I listened to last episode, and if you haven't listened to it about how to stay creative and to find out that, hey, guess what? Everyone's creative.
I know. I was really empowered by last week's episode.
Yep. But you know what's great about this angle is for the pledge, it looks like we're looking up to a flag.
To the flag.
Okay, are you ready?
And we are. I'm just kidding. You wouldn't let me make
If
a
we
flag.
stitch a flag, it's gone too far.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
also I could see it in the next year.
I'm still waiting
I'm
for
doing
some
sketches.
merch.
I'm doing sketches. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United Mates in America, and rarely in public is where we stand. One friendship, under God, indivisible. Live purdy.
Live party.
And just us for all.
For all the world to hear.
Our
see.
Now see. Our pledge. You know,
see, can you see?
some people might ask, why do you have a pledge?
You know, I don't.
The answer is, I don't know.
Yeah, and honestly, we wrote the pledge a while ago.
We wrote
part of it.
We wrote the pledge way before the podcast, just in Haley's car driving to do a mural, and it all hit us.
No, but I'm talking about, we even had the one part at the end even before that.
Yeah, just us for all. But
No,
that's
in the Libertine.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's a bar here in Dallas called the Libertine, and we would say it's just us in the Libertine for all. And that's stupid. I don't even know why I would say it, but every time we'd go to the Libertine, we'd say just us in the Libertine for all. And I totally forgot about that, actually. And now we have a whole pledge for no reason, because it's not like a criteria to have a pledge for your podcast.
I think, again, like the video, it's extra, but it's a nice touch.
It's a nice touch because we love puns.
It's so
And it's
fantastic.
so
I can't.
punny.
I can't.
Like, live purdy is maybe my favorite pun ever.
I know, and actually, I would like some feedback about what do you guys think when we say live purdy? Do you get it? What's that mean
There's nothing
to you?
to get. It's us saying something really ugly in a punny way.
I know, but one of my friends that is,
It's
an
ugly.
ELL, an English, maybe I'm an ELL.
English
Jesus.
language learner.
She was like, that is really funny because it sounds like liberty, but what do you mean by purdy?
Oh, because it's not pretty.
Yeah.
Purdy.
And even if you said live pretty, that's not what we mean either.
What do we mean?
We had it all. Remember in like the first episode where you said, I want it bedazzled on some butt jeans?
What are butt jeans? I just mean on the butt of jeans. Yeah, bedazzled on the butt of jeans, but
So it's like a
country,
but fabulous, but tacky.
so
but
we want
but
people
you're
to
all-
be tacky.
We're all in. Yeah, but it's a joke.
So what we mean is just
It's a joke. Yeah.
I don't think there's a deeper, we don't need to go into the deeper meaning other than.
But no, all I meant was, what are you thinking? What comes to your mind when you say live
And we're talking
party?
about the audience.
Does it make you want to, what's it make you want to do?
It doesn't really have a call to action for me.
For me, it gets me riled up.
About what?
I don't know.
What
I
does
just
it,
wanna
what
live
does
party.
it rile you up to do?
You sign off by telling everyone to
Live
party
party.
at the end.
Yeah.
That's a call to action.
You're right. And I guess I mean like go get some Ed
See?
Hardee's
See?
and make sure they're bedazzled butt jeans.
But you
and
do you also.
is that what it means? Is you do? I can't believe we're fleshing this out on a live podcast because
Well,
why didn't we know this already? I'm so out of the loop.
no, what it's saying is that it's so inferred. Is that the word?
Mm-hmm.
Like-
It depends on where you're going.
Like we know what we mean by it, but you can't really explain it. So maybe if people just get it, they get it.
Okay, I think that's good. That's good. So this week we are talking about.
Wait, I want a life update.
Well, we will. We'll get there.
right.
But this week we're talking about living in the present because it's something that has been a lesson over and over and over and over again this past year.
And no matter how much we know about it,
It's so hard.
we keep having the same conversation about it.
I mean, it's so hard, and we keep coming back to it. And there's a Dawes song called "Living in the Future," and the chorus goes, "We're living in the future."
What?
And I'm like, that's
I
my
am.
life. Every day I'll be in my head because my imagination is so much better than real life.
Yeah.
That's a
Some
problem.
of my favorite memories.
Happen in my mind. Wait, what was the quote you said the other day?
It said, I've lived through some really hard times and turmoil,
and
and
some of them happened.
and some of it happened.
Yeah. Like, you're just living. Well, and mine's in the future. So
Yeah.
I'll be in my head and then I'll be like, Amanda, you're living in the future.
Bring it back now. Bring it back.
I know. And it's really hard for me. So we thought we would just have a discussion about this. This isn't an us coming to you with solutions episode because clearly we're not living in the present. We're living in the future.
Whoa.
That's the next part of that song.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're talking about that we keep having to learn over and over and over to live in the present, and we're still just really, really living in the future.
Right. Signing off. Live pretty.
Bye. So we were just, and sometimes we indulge each other, about the future.
I want you to know
Too
that
much.
we always indulge each other, and we might be each other's problem.
And I think, if
We've really dreamt up an amazing life for each other.
I know there's the famous scripture that Christians say, I know the plans I have for you.
Thus saith the Lord.
Yeah, plans to prosper you, all these things. And after we were talking the other day, we were talking about what we want for our futures, and it was sounding so amazing. And Haley said, I know the plans I have for me, saith me. I about fell out of my chair.
We do have some good plans. We
But-
know them.
But it's really, okay, and then I just want to say this too, because now this is all coming together, Haley, because we're just having a conversation.
Yeah.
But we're watching Discovery Plus.
I was going to bring this up.
And we
so
were
I'm
watching
glad.
the new show that Magnolia Network put out called Lost Kitchen.
Oh my
which
gosh.
if you haven't seen it and know the concept of it, it's incredible.
we
But
got lost in that kitchen.
But listen,
Woo.
one of it's this woman has done an amazing thing with her journey. And she's talking at one point yesterday when we were watching this episode, and she said, I'm trying to think exactly how she said it, but she just said pretty much, I sometimes look inward at the end of a season, and if you watch the show, you'll know what she's talking about at the end of a season, and she says, and I think about my journey, and I can't believe where it's led me, because I had big dreams, but they were never as beautiful as this, never as special as this. I couldn't have dreamt this up.
So so even in our biggest dreams that we, the plans we have for us, maybe they're not even good enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that our plans sound magnificent, but then we have to let things happen, right? It's the whole simpler way thing where
I think there is an actual quote, and I don't have the book right here, but there is an actual quote in that book that says, your plans are nothing compared to what the world so willingly gives you.
Yes, and I believe, personally, I believe in God, and I do believe that He has good things for me, and I do believe that His plans are better than mine. You know what I mean? Like, I personally believe that, but it's really hard because I have some good plans.
Well, and
like, we have some really good plans.
And honestly, it's all I want to happen.
I know. And
so I'd like to be open to the present and other things, but I really like what we've dreamt up.
Yes. And so the problem is that sometimes I'm living in the future.
Whoa.
Thank you. And I am totally forgetting about my present. And I don't mean like I'm totally detached from where I am, but I'm not. I don't know. It's so hard.
Exactly,
and then I want to reference this.
The other Dawes song?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Dawes, the band we love, okay, they have a new album out, and this song, In Between the Zero and the One, right between the zero and the one,
is the title.
That's the title of the song. And it's incredible. First of all, the song's beautiful. It's so catchy.
I've been listening to it on repeat.
And I've been listening to it in the mornings to like trick myself to be like, don't be a future thinker. Think about the lyrics. And still nothing happens for me. But he says in the chorus, he says, it's not the whisper in your ear. It's not the banging of the drum. It's not the person that you were. It's not the person you'll become. It's not where you're headed to, and it's not where you're coming from. The only life you're gonna live is right between the 0 and the 1. And I could just pass out. I could just pass out from that.
It is so powerful. And honestly, this is the crap I was talking about at the beginning. Like, we know this and how it feels when you hear things like that. They resonate with your, like, the soul part of you. Like, that feels right, what those lyrics say.
Yeah, and go ahead. Sorry, finish your thought.
But our minds really want to plan and have these, and it's good.
And control. Some of that's bad. Like, you want control.
Yeah. And it's just really hard, even though it feels right and we kind of know it's right, it's just really hard to stay in the present and embrace all that it has without holding on to those plans and futures so tightly.
Right. And for me, what we were talking about, what those lyrics mean is, because it's kind of like, what does it mean right between the 0 and the 1? It means your life is not these big moments, positive or negative. It's not these just 10 moments or -5 moments. It's like right between the 0 and the 1, the mundane, the where nothing really seems like it's happening. Your emotions every day. He's saying that's the only life you're going to live is right between the 0 and the 1. It's not about where you're headed to. It's not about where you're coming from. And it's just all about the present. And I mean, I have goosebumps. Yeah. I don't know if you can see that. And it's really, it's a concept I know I believe in.
Yeah.
I 100% want it. And it is the hardest thing for me to do personally.
Well, and you know what's crazy?
What?
Is, we were talking about this. It's not who you were, and it's not who you'll become, and it's not, where you were, where you're headed, because none of that is actually real. The only thing that...
What do you mean it's not real?
The only thing that's happening right now, which is what he's saying, the only life you're going to live is between the 0 and the 1.
Oh, yeah. This concept is good. Yeah.
It's like, like I'm not right in this moment. I'm only who I am in this moment.
Right.
So I can meet somebody and tell them a million stories about who I was, and I can tell them a million stories about who I want to be. But the truth is that the only reality and the only life I'm living is the one that's happening right this second.
Right, because we were talking about that, and it's like saying, and sometimes you say it to yourself. You're like, I'm a really good person. Like, I've done some good things. And it's kind of like, okay, you have, but are you being a good person right now? Mm-hmm. Like, right in this moment, are you being a good person?
It's kind of, yeah.
And it's kind of, I know that seems like a weird way to think about it, but
it's like so simple, it's hard to grasp.
Yes, and it's also, it's this idea of, I think, kind of keeping tabs on yourself too. Like, I don't know, because we have an image of ourselves in our mind.
Yeah,
and we have an image of where we're going and all of that. I think it's good to plan for the future, and I think it's good to have aspirations and things like that.
And I do think that our past does contribute to who we are.
Absolutely, it plays into it. But we're not in that future place yet, and we're not the person that we were at all. We are, I mean, it's playing into us, but what matters is what we're doing right now, day by day. And you know, this week I did try to think, you know, because I teach, and it's really difficult because a lot of it's over Zoom right now because of the pandemic, but I have moments where I want to detach because I'm so bored.
What do you mean, detach?
I mean, like I let the kids, I teach the lesson, I let them do independent work, and as a teacher, you can always go deeper on certain things, like reaching out and working independently or whatever. And I don't mean this because it's not a lazy way, but sometimes there's just so much, it's very overwhelming, right?
Yeah, totally.
And you have to pick and choose the most important things. And there was just a few times this week where I wanted to pull back and be like, nope, I'm just going to let them figure it out or whatever. Sure. And the times that I didn't do that this week, specifically, there was this one girl, and I was really frustrated actually because she hadn't been turning in things, and anyways, she was being so slow on this thing that I was literally doing with them. And so I pulled her aside in a breakout room. That's like pulling someone aside on Zoom.
You really are living in the future.
Yes, and I was like, yo, what's up? You know, I mean, what's going on here? I've noticed you've been really slacking lately, and I just want to make sure everything's okay. And I approached it pretty, like, positively, not like, hey, what are you doing? Like, and she just broke down, and she said that her cousin had been arrested that week. Her grandmother had died of COVID the week before.
Oh my gosh.
Her family was dealing with all these emotions, and you know, it's just a reminder that you can't just go on like autopilot or neutral. Like, if you're living in the moment and you explore things in the moment, you're usually going to be better, and you're going to be better for other people and yourself. And so it was just a reminder this week, instead of being in a dream world, like the times that I reached out, it was really eye-opening. And even in a funny way, yesterday Haley came over right out as I got off work with the dogs, because she had my dog with her, and we were inside. I was making some food, we poured a little bit of wine, and the dogs start barking, and we look out, and our friend Bonnie in the neighborhood is walking by and stopped in front of my house. She doesn't know where my house is. I always go to her house for massages and things like that. And so we run out and we're like, Bonnie! And Haley was like...
She looks like she's had a heart attack.
She's like, oh my God, you live here? And I was like, yes. And she said, I literally just stopped because there's a heart-shaped dirt. There's dirt that's heart-shaped right in front of your...
And I was going to take a picture.
Bless you. Excuse me. And she stopped right there because she's going to take a picture, and then we just saw her, and it happened to be her birthday. And so we poured her a little bit of wine too, and we hung out with her. And it was this really sweet moment. And she was like, I just feel like I'm being so blessed all day with these sweet little moments, because she was like in the moment and saw the heart-shaped dirt, and we saw her, and You know what I mean? Like, just being where we are and not like she's just trying to get home or whatever. She's noticing things around her. And I'm not saying that maybe she was supposed to see us then. It seemed very uplifting for all of us. But it's just like that in between the 0 and the 1, these little everyday moments, they're the things that are making up our life. And it's they're special, even though they're just nothing too, kind of.
Well, and it's kind of reminding me of what I spoke about in my TED Talk a little bit, because it's about these little moments that stick in our minds because they move us and they catch us off guard and stuff. But the only way you see any of those moments and give them a chance to move you for things that might catch you off guard means that you weren't expecting it, so you have to be in the moment. So I just feel like, again, like the world is trying to offer us really beautiful, in-depth moments, whether it's you discovering something new and important about one of your students, that little moment, that may have been a small moment for you.
No, I think it meant a whole lot for me to make myself aware, or, you know, to be aware of her and to be there for her to hear her.
Right. And I think that the impact on her and like her feelings towards you, maybe even how the rest of her year is going to unfold. Like we also vice versa don't realize the impact we're having on other people while we're maybe on autopilot.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we're on autopilot, not content in our everyday lives, and we encounter a stranger and we're maybe not like super nice or gracious to them or something, you know, and that we don't even notice how we just treated another human maybe.
Yeah. And I think that, like we're saying, this concept is so simple, but it's so complicated at the same time. And I just think that, you know, even at the beginning of COVID, whenever we were super trapped in our houses, I'm talking about March and April, I remember I took 2 walks every day because I didn't have anything to do. The world stopped. I mean, the world stopped, you all know. And I would go out with sister, and my husband would do the morning walk with me, and then I would do the afternoon walk by myself. And I would just notice everything
that has been there all along.
Yes, in my neighborhood, all of these things about these houses. I found cute houses I hadn't seen before. I noticed different trees. I noticed the park in a new way. Like there was just like a lot of consideration over meaningless things that we would consider meaningless, I think, but because we had more time and we had more bandwidth to notice that, because usually we're go, so busy, there's stuff to do, we're at work, we're going here, we're going there, and it kind of made us be like, I need to do something. And it was going on a walk and noticing your neighborhood.
And all of those things that you walk past every day, drive past every day, the people you see every day, those are the things between the 0 and the 1.
And it's really beautiful when you do savor present moments. I'll tell you, even last week, I had my parents over for dinner because I hadn't seen them before Christmas. And my husband and I, we had them over for dinner, just the 4 of us. And we played spades, this card game. And my husband had to teach us because the 3 of us didn't know how to play. And so we had to be really present to learn it and play. And we stayed up until midnight playing together, having the best time. And it was just, we weren't watching anything. We were together, we were laughing, we were in this very present moment. And whenever you have those moments where you're just really there and you let yourself really be there, like I'm also thinking about when we went swimming on your birthday, and you know, like there's just, those stick with you. And it's kind of like what he's saying. It's not the whisper in your ear in the song, and it's not the banging of the drum. It's not these
high lows.
Yeah, it's not these high lows. It's these really steady moments
that you've got to be present for.
Right.
Because they make up your everyday life, which sounds so...
I know, and I feel like we keep kind of repeating the same thing because it's just every time you think about it, it's kind of awe-inspiring, and it's so simple you feel stupid that you don't.
Well, but honestly, this is like what the practice of like meditation is almost, that you're trying to be still and you're not trying to control your thoughts, but like you're just trying to bring them back to the present, and your mind wanders off and you have to bring it back, and then there it goes again, and it's just like this constant cycle because our minds are ridiculous. They are all over the place, but we do have some sort of control about trying to at least practice and uplift each other to stay in the present and be thankful for the things that are in the moment, and maybe even to put things in our lives like a game night, because you can't win at spades if you're thinking about
the future.
Right.
Well, and also I try to tell myself, I cannot remember who said this quote, and I'm not even going to say the quote precisely how it's written, but it's this quote that you can dream about it, think about it as long as you want, it will not make it happen. Right? It like I can dream about this idea for my future, and it's really pretty, and I love it, and it's so special, and it's exactly what I want. And you know what? I will never get there unless I'm working to get there in the 0 and the 1, between the 0 and the 1 moments. You know what I mean?
And I think that's the delicate balance where it gets confusing, because
you should have some forward thought, I believe.
Yes, and when you and I do our dream sessions, I
get inspired.
Oh my gosh, yes. And it allows your mind to wander to the places that, really you're curious about and really that interest you. And that's good, to let your mind wander and see where it naturally goes. That means it's something really important to us.
Yeah.
But then to bring it back to the present and say, what do I have control over? And, maybe what are a few things I would like to change in the present, but also what am I not fully open to in the present because I'm so locked on this.
Right.
I don't know. And I'm honestly
and I get locked sometimes.
I'm saying that out loud right now, and that is so hard. I don't even like it. I don't even like that I said that because
now you need to try harder at it.
Yeah, because I really want my future plans that we dream about.
I know.
And I really want to control them and whip them into submission and take my life by force.
But what if it's like the lost kitchen, and if we just go on the journey towards sister knows. Sister's barking back there. She knows. But what if it's like the lost kitchen and we go on the journey towards the dream and it becomes way better than even the dream we had?
And the only way that will happen is if we're fully present and open and playing in the moment.
Yeah.
Because the woman, and I also highly suggest watching it for more reasons than it's gorgeous.
It's super inspirational too, I think.
But yeah, she goes through really hard moments, and she has to... we've talked about this a little, like be stretchy in the moment.
Yeah, which means like get creative, and maybe you don't have all the resources, so you have to figure out new ways to make things happen.
Mm-hmm. And I actually heard a quote today that's by I believe it's a Chinese poet, and he's known as the Cold Mountain poet. And he has a quote that's very simple that says, "There's no line that goes all the way through." And it's just kind of about we're so attached to these paths and these ways because we see how they could go from right now to our future forever, and we understand it, we can wrap our minds around it, and that's how I want to live because I'm in control of it.
Yeah.
But that just isn't really how it happens.
Yeah. Sister, no ma'am. She's really excited back there. But hopefully what this does, this conversation, because clearly we are not living proof of this, right? Like we're trying. We're really trying. But hopefully this conversation, first of all, doesn't make you feel alone. Like it makes you feel seen, that, if you're struggling with living in the present, there's a couple girls here who are doing the same. Okay, we're struggling with that.
But we're trying.
But also maybe a beautiful thought that your future, however brilliant your plans are, might even be better if you just let it happen.
Ooh, good. That was good.
You know, like it might be a beautiful thought to give you this week to think that your
our
future
little human minds are
not capable of creating how beautiful our futures will be. And
trust
I think
your future is good.
Yeah, and I think that's difficult because sometimes I'm so afraid the future that I want won't happen unless I'm constantly on it, constantly, you know.
Ego.
Yeah, and that's the ego mentality. It's not the soul mentality where you trust. You trust that what you're doing right now is good and that you have a good future ahead of you. And so honestly, that's a very peaceful thought.
Yeah,
And it's and I'm telling you from my perspective, it's a very difficult thought.
Yeah.
In the moments where I will go down, I don't even know how to tell you. It's like world building up here. I've got Minecraft up here in my brain where I have got everything planned. So we're hoping that this is giving you some life, some information and inspiration to live pretty out there, whatever that means
for you,
in
the present.
Yeah, but we think it's the present, staying in the present and living right between
the present.
Right between the 0 and the 1.
Look up that song, y'all.
It's so good. And hopefully it gives you some, you know, inspiration to stay in between the 0 and the 1.
And you know, it's not so bad.
It's hard though.
Okay.
It's not so bad, but it's really hard. All right, we'll talk to you guys next week. Have a great one.
Bye, everybody.
Live pretty.